In the headlines to the CBC NewsNight, an open day and town hall meeting to take place at Kensington Oval tomorrow. Reaction to the court's decision to help the DLP status quo remain for now. Of the important role they have to play in Barbados' education transformation, and in sports, foundation are the BCA Under-13 champions.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome to the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. Days before the ICC T20 Men's World Cup officially bowls off, Barbadians have been invited to tour the upgraded Kensington Oval and participate in a town hall meeting with Prime Minister Mia Motley. Extending the invitation to this open day event is the Prime Minister herself.
I invite you to come and be part of it. Come and take a selfie. Take a selfie at the Mecca with your friends. Take a selfie just to be able to have it for history. We're so proud of what we've been able to do to bring it back up to welcome the world. I'm going to be there along with other members of the cabinet and indeed maybe even some cricket legends who are already telling us how great Kensington looks. Let's sit down and talk and see how we can prepare to welcome the world here and how we can continue always to do things better, because that is the Bajan way.
The town hall meeting starts at 5 p.m, but the doors open from 1:30 in the afternoon for guided tours. People attending tomorrow's open day will have available to them 2 sites from which a free park and ride service will be operated. One is the playing field at Brandon's on the Mighty Griner Highway, and the other is the Barbados Water Authority's photovoltaic facility at Lake Follies. A transport board shuttle will provide the transportation from those 2 locations to Kensington. More reaction tonight to yesterday's court decision, essentially ruling the status quo remains in the DLP, making it clear that Pedro Shepherd will continue to function as General Secretary and Andre Worrell as President. Political analyst Peter Wickham, in weighing in, says the court's decision is helpful in giving a clear understanding of the interim leadership of the party while allowing it to resolve its issues.
I think what is more important is that His Honour has established a starting point, the Chief Justice, in relation to us understanding who is in control of the organization. I think the other thing that was important in terms of comments that have been made by His Honour would be the fact that the Democratic Labour Party has the capacity to resolve this issue within and of itself. And I think that his setting a court date that is some weeks away gives the opportunity for the internal mechanisms to work. Now that there's clarity regarding who is in control, who is General Secretary acting, who is acting President, and perhaps the mechanisms of the party should be able to resolve the matter before it has to return to court. If it does, then there'll be further conversation, but I sense that there is an opportunity yet again for the Democratic Labour Party to resolve the matter internally.
And people on the street too have been offering their views of the situation.
Very unfortunate. Never witnessed it before, and it's unfortunate that they have to be hanging out their dirty linen out in the public, and even involving the justice system to get involved to bring settlement among themselves. It's just unfortunate. It is sad, and I think we need an opposition. We can't continue like this in Barbados, but they're self-destructing.
And I think it's a disgrace to the party. My feelings are that the old guard should step aside and let the young people do what they have to do.
All my life I never said this. And this court thing, this is a house fighting, deal with it in house. Deal with it in house. This court should level this court. And they're going to set back the DLP now, the DLP another 5 or 6 years.
The 4th International Conference on Smile Island Developing States, SIDS 4, opened in Antigua and Barbuda with a clear message that now is the time for action. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Motley is among the slate of world leaders attending. Host Prime Minister Gaston Brown has reiterated that SIDS are confronting several crises given the unprecedented global challenges. He says large-scale polluters who fuel catastrophic climate changes bear responsibility.
Of compensation to aid in our quest to build resilience. Our journey towards development has been repeatedly disrupted by monumental global crises, among them the financial meltdown of 2008, and the unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. These events, exacerbated by the relentless climate crisis, have severely undermined our efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs. This backdrop makes the call for urgent multilateral solutions even more critical.
UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres says the international community has a duty to support SIDS, led by the countries that have the greatest responsibility and capacity to deal with the challenges they face. He adds that the new Antigua and Barbuda agenda for small island developing states outlines steps to achieve resilient prosperity in partnership with the international community.
SIDS are a test case for climate justice and financial justice. Let us see first climate justice. The world is fast approaching the 1.5 degree limit that would avoid the worst impacts of global heating. Exceeding this limit could trigger multiple climate tipping points with abrupt, irreversible and dangerous impacts for humanity, posing an existential threat to some SIDS.
Prime Minister Motley, meanwhile, has been engaging in discussions more recently on a high-level meeting on mobilizing resources for SIDS. During that session, she raised the issue of the World Bank's graduation policy that is based on a country's gross domestic product per capita. She's described it as an inappropriate metric.
It means that you're not seeing us, you're not hearing us, and you're prepared to render a situation where climate migration will be the future of those of us, because we will not be able to survive in our islands if we have to choose. You cannot finance education and health with 15-year loans. And we have an international financial system that pushes us in that direction. My brother Ralph will not forgive me if I did not speak from here as to the consequences of seeking to move countries like St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, Grenada, and St. Lucia out of the bottom base of IDA funding, so that they will be required to pay greater interest rates at the same time as they wonder what 2024 hurricane season will bring to them. It is wrong.
Teachers have been challenged not to overlook or undervalue their role in Barbados' education transformation thrust. The advice came during the graduation ceremony for the latest cohort of professionals from the Erdiston Teachers Training College at the Wyndham Grand Barbados Sam Lords Castle Resort. Kishmar Singis has the story.
Teachers are being encouraged to embrace the education transformation process. Chair of the board of the Erdiston Teachers Training College, Dr. Sylvia Henry, wants them to be an integral part of the transformation.
Embrace the opportunities. Apply what you have learned at the college and apply this to transform our schools and our nation. Do not be a barrier to educational change.
Focusing on the theme for the graduation, empowering educators for tomorrow's realities, Principal Dr. Colin Cumberbatch says it aptly describes the global scenario.
As teachers, we are charged with the awesome responsibility of guiding students to the acquisition of knowledge, skills, competencies, behaviors, attitudes, and all those desirable attributes which will make them equipped to function in what is a very uncertain future. In 2016, the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report recognized that children in our schools today will find themselves in jobs that do not presently exist. The same report in 2023 further reiterated this point.
The 2024 graduating class comprised 196 people. Some 47 of them earned their postgraduate diploma in educational leadership. Valedictorian Tiffany Grimes says the accomplishments came with hard work. She adds that teachers go the extra mile to enhance the education experience.
Teachers, both current and past, are well versed in the latest research-backed strategies and are eager to implement them in their classrooms. However, achieving this in the face of overcrowded curricula and outdated educational facilities poses a significant challenge. Transformation in education often does not occur as a single sweeping change, but rather as a series of incremental yet impactful improvements. It is through the ongoing enhancements and modifications that we can gradually elevate the quality of education and ensure that our students are prepared for the demands of the 21st century.
The graduating class was further encouraged to utilize their critical thinking skills and creativity. Kishma Senjis, CBC News.
Meanwhile, given the feature address, a visiting professor of science and education at Teachers College, Columbia University, Christopher Emden, has told teachers that with the advent of artificial intelligence, the entire landscape of the world has changed.
Looks of education that said help students to graduate and gain information is a past time. I don't need you to have a whole bunch of information. Google can do that for me. I don't need you to have answers. AI can do that for me. And if the world we had was one that talked about you getting blind information, it makes something else very, very special. It makes something else be the essence of transformation, and that is imagination. One thing AI can't do is activate imagination.
Coming up, World Hunger Day observed with hundreds of free meals provided to those in need. Hundreds of Barbadians today benefited from free meals as Barbados for the first time observed World Hunger Day. Teams from the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness ventured out into various communities across the island serving cooked dishes. One of the first stops was at the Golden Rock Community Centre in the Pine. Community Relations Assistant with the Alliance, Shoshana Austin, says the locations were chosen after discussions with government officials.
This World Hunger Day feeding program, we started this in January. We wanted to give back to the vulnerable and needy communities. So we reached out to the ministers in the areas. So other than this one here at Golden Rock Community, we're also in Tyrocott, we're in Oistins, we have Radisson, we have Tambrain, we have Turtle Beach, we have Rotary, and they were also doing a feeding at the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness. So we would have reached out to the ministers to decide on these locations. We are aiming to feed 100 persons at each location.
And the food distribution continued over at Tyrocott as promised this afternoon. Our crew caught up with Tourism Minister Ian Gooding-Edgell, who was representing Prime Minister Mia Amor-Motley in her St. Michael Northeast constituency. The PM is currently attending the SIDS conference. Meals were packed and distributed with beverages and fruits. Minister Edgell thanked everyone who made the drive possible.
I would like to particularly recognize the Tamarind Cove Hotel team by Marriott, who were here along with other sponsors to assist us as we celebrate World Hunger Day. As you would imagine, today we would have presented a number of families with a number of care packages, and that is very important. It also recognizes the community outreach and the social responsibility of the Tamarind Cove Hotel team in celebrating with the constituents here in St. Michael Northeast.
Police have ensured some of the illicit firearms they have removed from the streets will never be used again. Close to 100 of such weapons earmarked for destruction this morning were displayed at the Central Police Station. They included rifles, Glocks and other types of pistols of all shapes and sizes that have been confiscated by lawmen. 113 obsolete or condemned firearms of various calibers were also brought by the officers from the Barbados Defence Force to be crushed. Sergeant Lizelle Gabriel of the Barbados Police Service says specialists from the United Nations were on hand to witness the exercise.
We are undertaking is destruction of 80 firearms. And these firearms have come into the police custody through cases that have been adjudicated through the courts, found as a result of various operations or handed over to the police by civilians. Also, we have the United Nations personnel here, and we have taken the advantage of having our personnel trained up. So we've had 2 personnel from the Barbados Police Service being trained by the United Nations in respect of how to undergo destroying firearms. Also 2 persons from the Barbados Defense Force. So that is what we have so far.
Agriculture officials in Barbados has moved to temporarily ban the importation of cattle from the United States of America. Chief Veterinary Officer Dr. Mark Trotman says the action was taken due to the emerging nature of the highly pathogenic avian influenza in animals other than poultry, especially in dairy cattle. The restriction applies only to live cattle, not cattle meat or other livestock or livestock products. Dr. Trotman added this may change as more information comes to light or as the outbreak progresses. He says the veterinary services will continue to monitor the developing situation of this disease and issue updates to the public as necessary.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Sports time now with Anne-Marie Burke. What's new in sports today, Anne-Marie?
Well, good evening to you, Wendy. I can tell you that we'll start with news of cricket and local cricket at that, as Captain Isaiah Thorne scored an unbeaten half-century as Christchurch Foundation defeated Harrison College by 6 wickets to win the 2024 BCS Everton Weeks Under-13 cricket competition today. Set into bat at Friendship Ground, HC posted 144-7 in their allotted 35 overs. Captain Javion Batson led with 64, including 2 fours, while Jashawn Joseph made a responsible 33, including 2 fours. Zaire Kalman was the pick of the bowlers for Foundation with 3 for 26. CBC's Damien Best reports on that innings.
Friendship the venue, Christchurch Foundation winning the toss and opting to field first against Harrison College. Zaire Kelman to Aidan Hines, swivels nicely, connects through square leg, and that is the first boundary of the match. Decent start for Hines and his opening partner and captain Javion Batson. They put on 29 runs before Hines miscued a pull shot, top edge, and Kimani Clark settles and takes the catch. Hines on his way for 11, wicket to Kelman. Kelman hunting for more scalps. Amir Adams beaten for pace and bowled off stump for a 2-ball duck. HC 29 for 2. More problems for the boys from Crumpton Street. The new batter, John Messiah, nibbles at one, caught behind by Shea Thorne for a 2-ball duck as well. Kelman gets his third, 37 for 3, 8 overs gone. The skipper can count his lucky stars. He was given a couple lifelines. This was one of them, full toss, and that really should have been taken at silly mid-on. Batson survives. Only 5 boundaries in the innings. Batson struck 2 of them. This one behind square. The fielder's job just to retrieve. He was in need, though, of some support. Not forthcoming just yet. Smart piece of cricket by the bowler himself, Kimani Clark. Franklin Durant, run out, backing up for 7, 59 for 4. Jershawn Joseph joined Batson and he worked Dimitri Walcott through the leg side to get going. 4 runs. 2 overs later, he would add another, makes excellent contact through square leg, more to the tally. Meantime, Batson would reach his half-century of 86 balls, but looked tired, going for a quick single a few overs later, and he would be run out for 64. Harrison College 131 for 5. CCFS pleased that the set batter was back in the pavilion. HC losing a couple more before the 35th over. Power failure for Anthony Waterman, caught by Kelman at mid-off for 3. Alex Armstrong, the bowler, 136 for 6 now. Eventually, the Harrison College innings would end on 140 for 7 in their 35 overs, with Joseph not out on 33. Damien Best, CBC Sports.
Chasing 141 runs for victory, Thorne struck an unbeaten 55 off 68 balls as Foundation reached a target on 141 for 4 in 23.2 overs for the 6-wicket win. Thorne struck 4 fours and 2 sixes, while Alex Armstrong made 34, including 4 fours and 1 6. Now, the stadium which will host the opening match of the T20 World Cup in Dallas, USA this weekend was damaged today after being hit by severe weather. The United States and Bangladesh were due to meet this morning morning at the Grand Prairie Stadium in an official warm-up match, but it was called off due to conditions at the facilities. There was heavy rain overnight and winds up to 80 miles per hour while storm sirens sounded in the city. Warnings for strong thunderstorms, flash flooding and tornadoes have been given for the area. A spokesperson for the International Cricket Council says fencing and scaffolding at the venue had been affected, but it does not materially impact the staging of the World Cup. Now, the opening match of the T20 World Cup between the USA and Canada is due to take place in Dallas on June the 1st.
The Business Report, brought to you by the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, a department of the Ministry of Youth and Community Empowerment, supporting young entrepreneurs from idea to enterprise.
In tonight's business, entrepreneur Tyreek Wilson wrote his name in local history books at the weekend. He walked away with the Bambusa Award for Entrepreneurial Excellence during the 2024 National Youth Awards at the Frank Collmer Hall. On tonight's Yes Business Report, the award winner talks about his journey.
Screams of excitement and thunderous applause filled the packed Frank Collmer Hall when Tyreek Wilson was announced winner of the Bambusa Award for Entrepreneurial Excellence. The creator of Carrington's Rum Cream spoke to the Yes Business Report after the evening's proceedings.
I feel relieved. I wasn't entirely sure what to expect coming into the award. I know that I had a ton of good and notable entrepreneurs within the category as well. So I was just hoping for the best, and thankfully that worked out.
The award winner gave some insight as to the origins of his product, noting that the idea had its beginnings with his grandfather.
The name of my business is Carrington's Rum Cream. So as the name suggests, we produce rum creams, so alcoholic beverage manufacturing. So just a bit of insight. So the original recipe for the rum cream would have come from my granddad. He only used to make it for family though, so I took it out to the family, made it into a business. With the help of my mom, adapted his original to make the coconut and named it Carrington's Rum Cream. Because I grew up in Kensington Village with him for most of my life so far.
He told the Yes Business Report that although the COVID-19 pandemic brought many things in Barbados to a halt, he pressed on.
When the world shut down due to the pandemic, I said to myself, I have to make the best of this. So at that point in time, not only was I preparing to start my degree at UE, my law degree, but I also took the opportunity to pivot in a way that was more meaningful than previous entrepreneurial efforts. And I think that Carrington is basically the embodiment of that. And I'm grateful for all the progress that I've made. I'm grateful for all the support that I've had. And I'm just hoping that we can continue that until I die and far beyond that.
Now, among the legacy concessionaires at the Grantley Adams International Airport, Mr. Wilson said he owes his success so far to the teachings and skills honed from Yes.
The Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme really has been very pivotal. Whenever you hear me speak about the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, you always hear me speak about the technical assistance that they would have offered me in terms of getting my bottles. The only thing that we import for the business, they're particularly difficult to get, and they stepped in without hesitation to help me get those bottles. But more importantly, the training and the special exercises that they have. So for example, they have an accounting program that I just signed up on, and that is something that's so pivotal for somebody like me who is not particularly au fait with numbers and more of words and strategy. So just different programs they have like that, whether it be accounting, whether it be marketing, that help to boost entrepreneurs, help to increase their knowledge and help them to be better rounded businessmen and businesswomen.
The Bambusa Award winner also offered advice to other young people thinking about getting into business.
Do not get caught up. A lot of people get in business just to make money. And that, although that is a very valid motivator, it should always be striving to make an impact, be meaningful, be practical, be reasonable with yourself, and not just seek the constant pursuit of money, because money is fine, money keeps you alive, but at the end of the day, it's affecting people's lives with the impact that you leave, not only on yourself and your family, but on the entire Barbados as a whole. That is what, to me at least, is most important and it should be what every entrepreneur should strive for, having that impact.
Congratulations are in order to Mr. Wilson and all those who won awards. Trevor Thorpe for the Yes Business Report.
As you heard earlier, the 2024 National Youth Awards were held over the weekend. Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment, Charles Griffith, used the occasion to reaffirm government's commitment to amplifying the excellence of youth by spearheading programs to reward their positive efforts. With that in mind, 119 young people in various categories were rewarded for their works of excellence. Some of the nation's youth also got the opportunity to showcase their talents in singing, music, and spoken word. In addition, bilateral amputee Rashante Parsons was rewarded for her resilience and courage. Minister Griffith says far too often people like to stay on the sidelines and criticize and not get involved in highlighting the contributions of youth, many of whom are crying out for support.
We need to see our young people. I spoke recently about bystanders effect because we like to take out a video, a camera, and take pictures without intervening. We cannot, as a people, move our young people forward if we do not get involved in the process. 119 youngsters were nominated. I'm asking you to double that next year. See our young people, because this is the vehicle that the government, through my ministry, is using to propel them forward.
Let's say welcome back to Anne-Marie. What's in store in this second half of sports?
Well, I start with, of course, squash. Kerry Meekins and Robert Cameron were among the crowned champions when the BCQS International Barbados Masters Squash Tournament concluded at the Squash Club in Marine Gardens recently. CBC's Anmar Goodrich-Boyce reports.
This is the first of three finals, women's 35-54. It's an all-Barbados affair with Kerry Meggins in the national colours, taking on Muffin Stallmeyer. But it was Meggins with the low shot to get the first point. The first game was pretty much a lopsided affair, with Meggins taking the game to Stallmeyer. Nice rally and even better returns for Meggins to cash in with a low shot to the wall again. Impressive. Despite several unanswered returns, Stallmeyer had her moments as well, playing attacking shots like this one, but she lost the first game 11-4. Meggins also took the second game 11-1, so let's go to the third and final one. Meggins picking up where she left off, and Stallmeyer had no answer. Meggins with the serve. Again, this rally didn't last too long. Same result, Stallmeyer trailing 2-love. Stallmeyer only managed 3 points in the final game as Meggins captured a comfortable victory and the title, winning 11-4, 11-1, and 11-3. We go to the men's 45-54 final now, featuring Robert Cameron wearing the black shirt up against Mark Giles. 1-1 in the first game here. Easy point for Cameron as the ball goes out. Cameron on his way to take the first game 11-7 and the second 12-10. As he was too hot to handle for Giles. This is brilliant play for another point. Giles was fighting valiantly despite trailing. This was one of the longest rallies in the match, but it ended here where Giles delivered a magical drop shot. Cameron appeared to have taken his foot off the gas at this stage, and Giles took advantage, picking up this point perhaps a little too late. Giles played well in the latter stages, but the damage was already done. Marvelous shot from Cameron to finish it off, winning 11-7, 12-10, and 11-8. Move ahead to the men's 55-64 battle. Mark Seeley in the yellow shirt with the black bib, taking on Jesus Santos of Spain. The Barbadian was under pressure from the start, but Seeley exhibited that he was up for the challenge with this return, and Santos had no answer. Santo, however, took the first game by a slender 2-point advantage, 13-11, but comfortably won the second 11-3 thanks to shots like these. Fantastic. Seeley started the final game hot. Intense rally here before the low shot deceived Santo. Impressive, and gets the appreciation of the crowd. But Santo was just too good, and despite Seeley battling, the visitor was in excellent form. Clever, winning this point on course to victory. Santo then wrapped up the win here with another trademark low shot, winning 13-11, 11-3, and 11-6. Anmar Goodrich-Boyce, CBC Sports.
Thanks for viewing. Do enjoy the rest of your evening.